No, but it's kind of hard to sit and listen to people talk when there is... Sorry, I couldn't read the rest, okay? Tell him I'll listen. I'm gonna pause my YouTube then. I'll talk to him. I'm sorry, Kay. I was listening to YouTube. Probably shouldn't be doing that one on the phone with you guys.
Greetings. I'm sorry I don't have time to chat.
And tell him I'm also sorry. Well, if he joins back, I'll say it to him in person, but...
Come closer. Come closer. Oh, Your Excellency, it's all...
I'm sorry, Kay.
Thanks for your visit.
A real story or a made-up story, a love story, a bedtime story. I need some more information. I don't know. Just give me like a genre or something. Something that's happened to you all. Alright. Let me think of something. Plus, I'm tired. I'm probably gonna fall asleep. Okay, well then, if that's the case. Alright, let me think of a good story. A story that happened to me. Sad thing about that is that not really too much exciting stuff happens in my life. At least not stuff that I really realize. A bunch of stuff happens, but I just don't realize that it's exciting. Alright, I'm ignoring you, Simon. You made me cry. I think it's probably a bit better if I made up my own story. I'm sorry, Kay. But I'm not too much exciting stuff, as I said, happens in my life to really be able to tell a story about it. Once upon a time, there was a friend. And this friend was always scared of another one of his friends. Until one day, the other friend came to him in desperate need of help. That friend was suffering a great tragedy, not of his own, but of another. Oh shoot, that sounds like a horrible starting of a story. Let me try and think. Let me tell you a story. Okay. Alright, I got one. There was this one troop during World War One. Let's call him Charlie. Alright. He was in the military during World War One, and he was a French soldier. And for weeks they were fighting with the enemy troops, and then all of a sudden, just one day, just completely stopped. Not a single peep from them. Not even one pencil dropping, not one quarter dropping, let alone not even hearing a bullet go off in days. So at that point in time, they picked out their most strong and valuable well, not valuable, but their most strong and capable soldiers, and they sent them on their way. They sent them on their way to go into the enemy fort and check to see if they were dead, or if something had happened to them. But when they got there, they didn't find anyone. They didn't find any food, anything like that. It was empty. No cooked food. Their food storages were there. It's not the fact that they didn't have food, it's the fact that they just, as if they just up and left. At that point, they were all scared, thinking, what in the world could have caused them to just pretty much up and leave? So they continued to patrol around the inside of the fort, looked around, kept on looking around, couldn't find a single thing, not one thing that belonged to any of the soldiers, until they went into one cabin. As they walked into the cabin, there was this utter stench. When they walked in, they looked around, and all that there was bones. Bones, skulls, bones, arms, legs, everything. A horrible stench and a horrible goo was there as well. Immediately after, they shut the door and they ran. The entire group, not knowing what in the world they had witnessed. But on their way, before they left, they did one final sweep till one of the soldiers decided that he found an old hole in the ground. Could have been from an old... They thought it was a secret passage for them to get away. So they talked to each other and they figured out who should be the one to go down. When he ended up going down, all that they ended up hearing was screaming. Screaming and screaming and screaming. They had to yank him out, but when they did, they didn't feel a strong, rough hand. They felt a dull, tiny, very slippery hand. You could feel the bone through them. No muscle, no fat, no nothing through the bone. They yanked him out, and they realized that he was covered in this black sludge. Before they realized it, they were on their way back to, save their lives, because they were petrified of what it could have been. When they got there, the people asked what in the world happened. They told them the truth. At which point they called the French government and they made them all sign paperwork, including Charlie and including the guy that fell in, pretty much disclosing that what had happened, what they had seen, was nothing. Just probably an old latrine, an old toilet that was never properly cleaned, that type of stuff. They made it seem as if it was nothing, which, to be fair, was probably the best thing to do. But then, what ended up happening is they started dying slowly, painfully, and when one would die, the black sludge would come out of the person. After weeks, the entire group was dead. Every single person in that base was dead from the sludge, except for one man, Charlie. Now, alright, when we're talking about that, let's go back a couple weeks, just about, I would say, when the first people started to get sick. A lot of people were wondering where this Charlie figure was from. No one really remembered him from other groups. No one else really knew him. So they were asking the people that he decided to come in with. And they said one day he just hopped on the boat with a sign of paperwork that said he could go. And he went. No one knew his family. And then when they started thinking about it, he never really talked. He would just smile. Never got mad, never got sad, just smiled. Alright, so now going back to when he was the last survivor. Once they realized about him, and they realized kind of that something happened to where he would only smile. Not just the whole war thing, but throughout his life. So they threw him into a mental institution. He was there for a few months. He was supposedly doing good. Until one day, him and four or three other people went missing. Just vanished. They didn't know where he went. They assumed that they found a way to escape, and they did. It wasn't until many months after, when one of the nurses was moving the beds, that they found teeth underneath one of the beds. Not underneath the bed, but underneath the frame of the bed. The exact amount of teeth was the amount of teeth for every single one of the four other people, except for Charlie. All those four teeth were every single one of those other people that he supposedly escaped with. But Charlie still had his teeth. And he fell off the face of the earth. No one knows where he went. No one knows what happened to him. And that's the end of the story. Tell me what you thought about that. If you think it was horrible, honestly, be honest. Good. Really? Thanks. Would you like to hear another, or? Template to write it. What do you mean? Templated to write. Heard before. There's actually a bunch of horror stories. It's not really a horror story, but it's like a big group of hundreds of thousands of people that just write stories down. And I've actually thought about writing a couple of my own, but it was too much work to get in to register to do it, so I never ended up doing it. Another one of the stories. There's this one creature. He is 7 feet tall. So you gotta think about it, 7 feet tall, that's pretty tall. But with him being 7 feet tall, he's very skinny. So skinny, in fact, that there is no meat to him. There is no fat. There is no muscle to him. He's just flesh. Another thing about this creature, as we so like to call him, is his arms. I was about to say his hands. His arms. You think to be 7 feet tall is weird, but imagine having 14-foot long arms that could claw at stuff in the opposite area as you, in the opposite room. One of the things about him, almost as big. So randomly my controller just died. But even though it's even though it's halfway charged, it just glitched out. Sorry, getting back to the story. He's kept in a safe, locked room. No security cameras, no nothing. There is no way to get in. It is completely filled in with concrete. That's how scared they are of him. Because the main reason why you should be scared of him is because if you look at him, no matter how far away, no matter how long of a distance you are, it'll find you and it'll rip you apart, limb
I see
for
that the governor
limb.
of Hikmet's emissary is already here.
He is, and I am
It has
very
been
thankful
tested.
that you succeeded in
It has been
organising this
tested.
meeting.
And
Full of hope.
even 70 meters underneath the water, it'll still reach the victim.
However, if you could leave us,
How's that
I
one
am
now?
sure you can understand that the discussion we are about to have must remain confidential.
Naturally. I hope that you will reach an agreement.
It's okay, what did you think about that? If you want, I can add to the story and make it a bit more interesting. I don't mind doing that. Okay. Do you want me to add to that story? If you would like, I can. No, but I'm saying I can add to the story. I can tell you about one of its victims. Alright. One of its victims. Well, it is kept in a safe area in Antarctica. So far up north, not as many people. A lot safer. Not hardly anyone to reach it. I heard this story till the end and I fell asleep. The thing about this animal is as I said, they keep it in Antarctica in a sealed concrete area. But one day, randomly, it somehow escaped. It killed every single person there. Until the people that they work with, all the people that are the group that's meant to keep it from other people, it escaped. And when it escaped, it killed all of them as it sorry, I'm trying to say that, and for some reason I backtracked. I killed every single one of them. But they had no idea what caused the breach. Of how it got out, who saw it, where it was going. Luckily, before it was able to get anywhere, they had trapdoors around, and they were able to trap it in one. But in doing so, they trapped one of their own people. That person, sadly, was killed. Throughout the entire event, afterwards, they kept the monster in there. They left the facility, they realized nobody is ever going to find it. A news reporter found the photographs of it laying in that area. Never got to see it though. I found the photographs of him. When she went up there, she went back to her home, sat down and opened the photographs. When she saw the face, within a number of minutes it was at her front door, breaking and slashing. Before you could say another word, she was dead. They knew exactly what happened to her too. At that time though, they had no other choice. They bought her supposedly a plane ticket to flee the city and dumped her body so that no one would know what truly happened to her. The only people that know are the people that hid it from everyone else.
Our discussions were very fruitful. However, we are faced with a problem.
Really? Our peace treaty depends on the ability to exchange freely.
And Chief Ulan has warned me that our merchants would be at risk of being attacked by the neighboring clan.
Mordoon, the
Thank
chief
you.
of the village of Igugson, is at the Nea Exragao. He is among those who think that the people of your island are only here to take from us. But his village would also benefit from this agreement. If you could convince him to meet us, we could reach an understanding, allowing the caravans to pass through his territory.
Without this, I am afraid we would not be able to make a commitment. Peace and trade are linked. If our merchants risk their lives coming here,
I am sure
I don't know why I'm so tired. It could be my voice, or it could be the fact that it is 1:17 in the morning.
We will wait here and hope that you will manage to reason with him.
Alright. I don't know why I'm so tired. I already answered it for you. So, switch to private message so I don't bother sending. Okay. That's fine. No, I haven't. Why, you think I'll like it? Black Mirror is an anime. It isn't. Black Mirror? Oh, my hands. The thing is I'm not really good with horror. I just like this certain genre of horror. Like, I guess you could call it like sci-fi horror. I hope that you know that it's a British TV show. You know that it stopped, right? Maybe don't watch it with your dad. Why? Why shouldn't I? No, why? Why shouldn't I? Wait, John Hamm, isn't that the guy from all the Skip the Dishes commercials? Because it's good, but someone figured out how. This is what I need to read pop. Is Miley Cyrus in Black Mirror? Oh yeah, Miley Cyrus is in it. What in the world? Why do people even realize that type of stuff? It's my job. I'm the one who's supposed to realize all the stuff that nobody else realizes. Yes, I am good with that. Don't question it. Okay, good. What? No, why? Please. Please don't leave me. Please. Please. I wish, but my eyes hurt like so much. Like so much. I know my eyes sometimes hurt very much too. I have to go. I'll talk tomorrow. I guess so. Bye, Kay. Enjoy. Nighty-night. Or as I like to read it, as a naughty night.
Greenblood, tell me, do you remember that young recruit I spoke to you about? I would still like to present him to you. I can see that you're busy with... We'll see to this later. Anything else?
I must leave you.
You know what, guys? I think I'm gonna hop off as well. Hope you guys have a fantastic night's sleep tonight. Enjoy whatever you got going on tomorrow. Alright, everyone. Sayonara.